All right, we're talking about burnout. Do you know what burnout is?
Not a clue.
Not a clue?
No.
Right, so it's when you get so exhausted from what you're doing that you feel like you can't continue doing it. Have you ever felt burnout as a 9-year-old?
Rourke.
Running a lot with Rourke?
Playing with Rourke a lot.
Okay, so that wears you out? Yeah. Physically or mentally? Both?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Your little brother wears you out mentally? Yeah. How do you manage that?
I drink water and take a nap.
Drink water? I don't think I've seen you take a nap in years.
Although that's great advice.
That is great advice. Like, take a knee and hydrate is what the military used to say, right? So, like, take a knee and hydrate, you know? So, that's, I mean, it is solid advice. Drink some water, get hydrated, take a nap. Yeah. Well done,
and that's
buddy.
what I
You're
love.
giving everybody good advice.
Yeah.
Okay, good night, he says.
Kids, what's so special about kids is there's no filter built yet. You just get raw, authentic responses to things that a lot of times are sort of wake-up calls to us as adults. Like, there's a lot of truth to what my 7-year-old or 9-year-old just said.
Yep.
It's just like the simplest statement. And it's a reminder at times of, you know, you have everything you need right around you, and that support system can help you remain focused and take the right steps on things you need to do as a family. It's just fascinating to me.
Maybe I need to do a better job of asking him for business advice and for life advice. I can have my son be my life coach. That might be a good route to go. All right. Huh? You don't think that's a good route to go? As you're yanking on my chair over here? Yeah. Man, oh man. So you, we'll go back to you were saying that you didn't think that having the kid really added to that feeling of the burnout side of the house. So what do you think led to that finally, and for you realizing it?
That's a good question. I tend to, I think we mentioned in this conversation, you know, giving it all you got in the things you do in life. And eventually, if you're redlining for too long, you just, the engine burns out. And I think I got to that point where the engine needed to take a rest. And having a kid, well, I don't think it led to the burnout. It certainly takes some of your energy, right? And then the energy that's left to give to your spouse is very low. So you've got work, the work demands, and doing the best work you can to provide for the family. And then you're taking care of a small child, which is tremendous amount of energy. And so I think that's been the biggest learning as a couple once you have a kid, is still remembering and doing things as a team together and respecting each other and finding time for each other that can be very hard to do. And so we talk about that, and we talk about, you know, what can we do together, even if it's just, you know, going out to lunch once a week with each other and talking about life, or just talking about whatever, but making time for each other along with the communication are critically important as you introduce little ones into the picture, I think.
How did you have those conversations to make sure that you did do that? Like, what were the tactical steps you guys kind of took to say, hey, and was there like a light bulb moment that was like, whoa, we're not doing this enough? Or was it, you already knew that you needed to do that to make sure that you guys have those lunch dates or whatever?
I think it's your go, at least in our case, your go all the time. It actually takes one of the people in the relationship to say, hey, you know, we're not finding enough time for each other. You know, we haven't had like an adult conversation in like a month or something like that. That is just sort of that wake up call. It's like, okay, the pendulum swung too far to one side. You know, let's bring it back, and, you know, sorry this happened, or, you know, let's talk about this, and, you know, what can we be doing better together?
Yeah. And so who was it that had the wake up call first? Which one of you guys stepped up and said something?
It's probably my wife, who recognized it.
Good job,
before
Molly.
I did. Yeah. Molly recognized it before I did. And I'm one of those people who can compartmentalize things in my brain and just close that compartment for right now and be like laser focused on something and very much a driver personality. And then when that thing is done, then I can come back to the thing that I put in the compartment. But I've learned that everybody's different and people don't have the same mindset as I do, and maybe you do, Adam. And so I try to get better as an individual every day, whether it's with my spouse, with my team, with my business partners, with my son, all those things, my parents, my sister, all of the above.
All of the above. Good. What does getting better every day look like right now for you as a dad, like with your son?
I'm fortunate in the thing I'm working on right now to have the flexibility of time, so I pick up my son after school. I'm usually doing the pickup, which I love being part of that process. I get to take him to his practices and go to his games. I've been able to attend his first things that he's doing at school on stage. So I was there, like physically present, but also mentally present to appreciate that part of his life. And I think that's what has been really important right now for me in this part of my journey.
Yep, I love it. Yeah, I was almost always the one who picked the kiddos up from school. Like my wife would drop them off early in the morning, and then it would either be one way or the other. Is one of us would drop them off and the other one would pick them up. And those were such joyous moments for me. Like the drive home when we lived in Virginia, our drive home was like 45 minutes. So I'd pick the kids up from school, and then I'd have like a 45-minute drive home. And like the conversations we get to have, with at that time it was kindergarten through second grade when we were up there, my oldest, and like just like 45 minutes in the car, just the two of you. I mean, Rourke was there too, but he was so little that he wasn't necessarily a part of the conversation for a lot of it. But man, it's just so much fun to be able to do that and go and see those things. And that's when I was still in the military. And now now that I'm out, it's like, I was picking up, I was dropping off, I was at every event. Like everything was just kids, and like what a joyous time, but exhausting.
It is.
How have you found that transition from working a bunch in tech and getting burnt out to now balancing that absolute pleasure of being able to be there for all of those things, but yet still now working from home, managing business, trying to make sure things are getting done at the same time as enjoying those moments of being 1% better every day for your kid?
It's for me, it comes down to just being very intentional with the things that you're doing. I know I've been guilty in the past at working for these companies of saying, let me do, there's one more thing I got to get to. And then that one more thing gets to like 10 more things I got to get to. And it's just this endless cycle of these one more things that I have to get to in life. And before you know it, the time in the day and the day during the week is gone. And you've missed out on being present and focused in the moment with your wife and your son. So doing this, I can block off time and be intentional about the time I'm going to spend heads down on deep work for what we're doing, and then understand the process and time commitments that it takes each week to get the pre-production, production, and post-production elements of what we're doing out there. And as I understand that process, I can start to manage that in an efficient and effective way so that it's not cutting into my time with my family. And it seems to be working right now. Again, I don't know, a month, a year from now, if I'll be doing the same thing or if this will be something that is sort of complementary to what I'm doing. But having this time has been a good sort of reflection exercise for me to refocus on what the most important things are in life. And I'm very grateful for all the things that I've had in my life, from a great family to good jobs and a great marriage, and finding the right partner in life to go through that with, to put us in a position where we can think about these things and manage our life the way that we sort of generally want to. Not everybody has that privilege, and so that's where, you know, we also think about how we can help. And John and I, in our conversations, have done what we can to help share stories of veterans and support some veteran networks and other areas where people maybe aren't as fortunate, or are transitioning into something that's totally unknown and scary, and how can we help them in that process?